in the chat if you're just starting to embrace these books and pick them up 5 minutes a day. We call these books our sixth fueling. Okay. So there's five fuelings if you're on the 5-in-1. And then we always preface that with you will have a sixth fueling, which is just reading your materials 5 minutes a day, making sure that that shot of nutrition, right, that's for your mindset is protecting everything that you're building. Okay. So if you're just starting to get in the books, put a 2 in the chat if you looked at the books and you were just like, oh my gosh, those are daunting and they remind me of school and I feel like I have homework and it's a lot, right? So I have clients that have said that, and what we have to do is awaken them, awaken you to the fact that if we knew how to do it before, we would have, right? If we knew how to do it before, we would have. And we don't know what we need to know to secure our health permanently. And so this is not homework, it's a gift. It's a gift to spend 5 minutes a day sealing and cementing your results. And so I want to kind of shift you into that space today that it's not a have to, it's a I get to, and it's a part of your overall well-being, right? So just kind of reorienting you around the reading. Put a 5 in the chat if this is your very first time on a community book club, where you've never been on a book club, you've never been in our community in this type of way. Put a 5 in the chat if this is your first time with us. Awesome, Elizabeth. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. Thank you for showing up for your why and really creating something new. Okay, so today, this morning, together, experientially, we're gonna forward each other. We're gonna take a little baby step forward today. And if we continue to do that together in community, we're gonna get to our goal. Some are gonna take steps a little faster than others. That's okay. Don't compare yourself. You're taking a step forward today, and that's what we wanna celebrate and recognize. And I'm gonna take a step forward with you. I struggle to create health just like you do. That's why I'm a coach. That's why I'm in the community. Because I was like, I already know me. I was the girl who did her diet every January, okay? I was the girl who tried to outspin her fork. I was the all or nothing girl. So I was either all in or I was off track, okay? So before program, I battled with those things a lot more than I do now, and I attribute that to being in community with all of you, okay? So definitely get your books out. We're gonna start at about page 305, where Miss Julie Russell and some of the other folks left off last week. If you were not on last week, there is a playback. Did you guys know that we record these and that we put all of them in Nourished? And there's a file that Julie created and it has all of them. So if you're ever just having a wonky day and you're like, I need some book club, but it's not Saturday, you can go in there and you can listen to them while you're driving to work, while you're putting on your makeup, while you're doing anything, okay? This is the support that we promised you on your health assessment. We said, you're not going at it alone, and we meant it, okay? So you can take advantage of that. I didn't know if you guys knew that or not. But starting on page 305, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about volume, okay? So sometimes you have a day that you're a little more hungry than other days. Yes? No? Right? Where you're like, I don't know what's going on today. I'm a little bit hungry. Okay. That's pretty normal. And what's wonderful is we want to make sure that every day we're getting the proper volume. So we don't wait and eat 6 times a day And, occasionally what Dr. A is showing us is no, you're going to be full of fiber every day. You're going to be full of water every day. We're going to do it proactively. This is called the add-in method. If you add enough good things in, I want you to think of a grocery bag, okay? And if you go, well, I got to fill my bag with 5 fuelings, okay? I'm going to put those in there. And then I need 3 servings of vegetables. And then I need 80 ounces of water. And then I need my 5 to 7 ounces of protein. And then I need a healthy fat or 2 if it's provisioned. And then, maybe I'll throw some radishes in there because today's kind of a hungry day. That bag is full. It's full ahead of time. The plan is to be full and not wait until hunger or thirst, described as hunger, knocks on your door and then you make a bad decision. So he's saying, let's use the add-in method. This works really good with kids too, where instead of saying, you can't have that, and you can't have that, and you can't have that, and you can't have that, fill them up with the good stuff. And then they won't have as much room spatially for the bad stuff. And that's really what Dr. A is introducing on page 304. How many of you are starting to realize, anybody want to share? Did I have anyone in here that was, or do I have anyone in here that wants to share around, you know what, I didn't eat all day and then I would come home and eat everything? Anybody not eat all day and then come home and just eat anything you could get your hands on? I see Rose saying that was me too. It's in school when I was young. I don't know what that was about, but I wouldn't eat in front of my peers. And then I would come home and my mom would go, whoa, and I'd eat everything in the house from 3 p.m. on. It was a terrible habit that I was reinforcing in my youth. Anybody else besides Rose would be like a breakfast skipper, maybe even a lunch skipper. And then you roll around and it's like, I'm entitled, I earned it, I didn't eat all day. Yeah, so a lot of people resonate with that. And my husband was an executive for Best Buy, and he, prior to being a fireman, and he wouldn't eat all day. And then he would come home at night and just eat large amounts of food. And Julie talked about that last week, about just the insulin surge, right? And in our former reality, we would say, well, I can eat all those calories because I haven't eaten all day. What we were ignoring is what it did to our blood sugar. Okay, so everything gets stored. Exactly, Julie, everything gets stored. So that was interesting. Volume, the key to satiety. I want to share with you a tip that I do now when I'm a little bit hungrier than the day before. And I'll tell you what I do. I go for the shrimp, because why? How many ounces of shrimp do we get? Put it in the chat. How many ounces of shrimp do we get? 7. Yes, tofu, 7. Or whatever, a lot of tofu. I don't even remember. I had to weigh it out last time. Egg whites. I'll make a big old egg white omelet with feta cheese and spinach and mushrooms. And those days still happen to me where I do get hungry. And I love that we can dial up that intake and also dial it down on the days when we're not hungry. Red meat, maybe, right? A small 5-ounce portion. I don't need a healthy fat, and maybe some asparagus or broccoli. So let's hear from, what do you guys do? I want to hear from some of you guys on those days when hunger knocks at your door and you're just a little more snacky and you need that volume. What do you do? I'm going to put myself on mute and let some of you guys share your best practices, because you are going to have some days in December where, for whatever reason, you're just snackier than normal. And you can have that lean and green early too.
I have pickles.
Go ahead, Crystal. Can you take yourself off mute? There you go. Awesome.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I know when we go right now Christmas shopping, and I know with the girls' snacks and everything, I'm like, okay, I don't want to eat their snacks. So I'll prepare in advance and I'll take like almonds or pistachios, or I'll cut up bell pepper raw and cucumber. And for those days where I'm out and about, and that's my go-to is to snack. So I just make sure I usually have something. But the days I notice I'm more hungry at home, same thing. I'll always try and have bell peppers or cucumber ready to go, even celery as well. And I know it's like an optional snack and extra greens, and that's better versus anything else to snack on.
That's awesome. That's such a great tip. I love that. Anyone else? Yes, raw veggies, right? The crunch, the getting those things in us before we get anything else, right? That is a really good tip. Anyone else have any tips for when you're hungry or just having a snacky day and you so very much want to serve your why?
Somebody had said pickles. They took themselves off mute. I think that that's really helpful. I usually go for salty items if I'm feeling snacky, so a pickle will do that for sure.
Yes, I had said pickles. It's a great saver. If you're starving or you're just before your lean green and you think I really want to have just some crunch or something maybe a little salty, I get a couple slices of pickles, not a whole pickle, and just take my time and enjoy it, and I'm good.
Awesome. Yes, pickles are wonderful. I don't know what it is about a pickle. It's the salt, it's something. It's just like, okay, I'm back to normal. So that is a great one in between fuelings. Michelle Singleton, I saw your hand up, and then we're going to switch to another tip.
Yeah. You guys hear me? Because
it sounds a little bit robotic. Like, yeah.
and like they can't.
Okay, Michelle, yeah, you're breaking up quite a bit, love. So if you get into a better spot, let us know and we will come back to you. Just put your hand up and we will come back to you. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the next page that we're going to is page 307. Now, the one thing that can be an issue for folks is alcohol, okay? We can talk a little bit about alcohol. Now, I recognize some of you may never have it and that you're like, nope, that's a no issue for me, and that is fantastic. But for other people, this is the season where they have to think, well, what about a glass of wine or some champagne? Am I allowed to have a cocktail? Or, you know, what's gonna happen at my fat burn? Now, all alcohol converts to sugar, just like that. Okay, so now if you add a mixer to it, or, you know, like on page 307, we know that wine can be something that Dr. A describes as it's got some anti-cancer agents in it, just like grape juice, right? There's some like biflavonoids in it and things that are good for us. But in fat burn, it would be a competing food. Okay, so how many of you are starting to recognize some things like fruit? Fruit's not anti-health, but it's a competing food in induction. Okay, so what we do is we set aside foods that compete for our why. Okay, so we want to make sure that, like, alcohol has a couple double whammies. Number one, it'll interrupt your fat burn. Okay, so if you're in a fat burning state, yes, it does interrupt it. Yes, it does compete and potentially break your fat burning state because it's an available. Remember that if you ate an apple on program, is apple bad? No, but it has sugar in it and it provides an available to you. And what we're trying to do is use our what? What are we trying to use instead of our availables? Does anyone know what we're looking to use instead? To be
Our
really
fat.
Who said that? Sorry, I can't.
Dobby.
Yeah, we're looking to use our fat stores. Okay, so you got to choose every day. Do I want to give an available food, right? Like alcohol or fruit or something like that? Or do you want to utilize your storage and pull something out of the storehouse, okay, instead of interrupting that fat burning state. So I've had clients say, well, I don't understand why we can't eat fruit or have a glass of wine. Dr. A says glass of wine is good. Okay, hold on, you're in induction, okay? So remember, there's 3 phases to your program: induction, transition, and optimization. So for me, one of the things that I had to do on plan, and I still do every day, is I have to look at my competing wants. I want to lay in bed, but I need to get my steps in. You know, I want to watch another episode of Yellowstone, but I need to do some personal development, you know, because I'm better when I do. I want a second serving of my Lean and Green, but I remember that doesn't serve me. And that in a couple hours, I will have my lovely brownie, right? So we have to look at our competing system of wants all day and do it hour by hour by hour. Do not judge yourself for the temptations that arise, but ask yourself, am I using my supports? So am I using my supports? What are your 4 supports on this program? Your coach, this community, right? You're reading and journaling and scribing and setting goals in writing versus just saying them in our head, and the nutrition plan. So if you find yourself struggling, on page 77 of the Habits of Health book, he says it's because your supports are slipping, okay? When your supports start slipping, we start slipping. So thank you for, you know, really making it on today. I'm gonna ask a question, and I'd like to see about 5 or 6 people share. How are you giving up the good of, ooh, a glass of wine or Prosecco or that second serving? Or how are you guys giving up the good for the great? Your great is fat burn, where you're like, ooh, momentum, 2.5 to 3 pounds of body fat a week on average, incredible energy, sleeping like a baby. That's the great. How are you giving up the good things that are so tempting at times for the great? Share with us. Kathy, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I just tell myself that will be there. It's always going to be there. But this is my opportunity to be better, to feel better. It's just not worth it. To me, it's not worth it. Like, that will be there. But for me, I'm not going to do it.
Wow, I love that. So, gosh, it's kind of like, I know what cheesecake tastes like. I know what a glass of wine tastes like. I don't know what it tastes like to zip up my jeans and run out the door and feel like $1 million, right? So yeah, you're saying, I know what that tastes like, but I haven't tasted success in a while and I want to taste it fully, right? That's pretty awesome. I love that. Thank you. Lamont, would you please share with us?
Yes, the other night I was at a birthday party, and I'm still in my induction phase, so I haven't hit my weight yet, almost there. And they brought out this cake, all the stuff that I like, Oreo cookies on the top with what do you call it, red velvet, all the stuff that was like, wow. And I looked at it, I looked at how big it was, and I thought about where I was and what I was trying to get to. And I said, well, I could just have a little piece. And then I said, no, I don't need to waste my calories on that and set me back. And a lot of times what I'm doing now is I'm measuring, you know, is it worth that to let something go? Is it better to let something go to gain your goal? Because eventually I can have that in very great moderation. But the idea is I got to hit my goal, and probably by then I won't even have the taste for it like I had. So I was successful. I didn't eat it. And because of that, I lost some more pounds.
Wow. Okay. So the brain says, you're missing out, you're missing out, you're missing out, Lamont. Oh, the ship has sailed. You didn't get any of that FOMO. And then in reality, he won. He won. He tasted something good, more pounds lost. One is immediate, I want to taste it. The other is delayed gratification for a moment or two. And he steps on the scale and he wins. So your brain is always, we always say, right, your roommate. If you've been on a call with me, I tell you, name your roommate, give him or her a name, call them out. They have really bad ideas, right? You need to confront the roommate and say, you've lied to me for 39 years, shush, I'm gonna do what's in my book, okay? So that's amazing, thank you. Beverly, share with us what you're doing to give up the good for the great right now.
Well, the first thing I'm doing is really diving into community this time. This isn't my first time doing program. And this is my first week. I'm on day 6. And I'm doing it differently. And the biggest thing is I moved my Y card, my 3x5 Y card from my office and my where I do all my computer work right to my refrigerator. And I can see it. I can see it from where I'm sitting right now. And I read it every day. And it's made such a huge difference this time around. And I'm really fired up and really excited about getting healthy again.
That was amazing. Guys, she just success leaves clues. You know what? And I just want to personally applaud you for doing it differently this time. Health is not a destination, it's a journey. We tack like sailboats. Very few of us buy our kit and then we just nail it, right? If that's what you thought was going to happen, it usually doesn't. A diet does that. Dr. A says a diet lasts 30 to 60 days, so you can kind of nail it, right? But a health journey, you tack like a sailboat all the way over to the island of freedom that you want most. So Beverly, awesome. Thank you. You're super brave for doing it and doing it this time with the community. I'm going to tell you, I've been in the community 5 years and they have carried me through some incredible times of my life where it would have been hard to choose me. Okay, so thank you guys. Patrick and Sherry, share with us what you, one or both of you, do to give up that good for the great.
Hi, it's Sherry. So for me, I am so blessed when I jump on the community, whether you have our clients are on camera or not, just because they show up. When I'm being challenged in optimization, and a lot of times people say, oh, when you think that when you get to optimization, you're good. No, when you get to optimization, you have to stay here and it's going to be disciplined. And when we're coaching clients and they're struggling, I am that sacrifice. So what I mean by that is when I hear your hearts, I now start making choices in optimization to say, Sherry, remember how so-and-so said this? Now, what you're about to do, is that really serving you? Is this moderation or is this too much moderation? So when I hear you and I feel you, me coaching you helps me to stay true to it so that I can be true to you. Thank you.
So good. Yes, it is a reciprocal coaching program that Dr. A has designed. Each one teach one, each one strengthen one. No one has this all on lockdown. Coaching just means you're an accountable client. That's what it means. It doesn't mean anything else, because we have the books, you have the books. We get on the calls, you get on the calls. We're in Nourished, you're in Nourished. Now, do we get loved on a little bit by the company? You bet. And does that push us a little further? You bet. But we are not superheroes that don't have temptations or fail to choose our why. We do, okay? We've just chosen to be an accountable client for life, and we want to be in the community long term. A couple of things I want to share with you that are powerful in terms of your knowledge that have really moved me forward is I had no real understanding of fiber's role, okay? So a lot of us are like, I'll just do one better than the program. I'll mix in a little string cheese, and then I'll do a little fueling later, and then I'll do a little egg. Whoa, whoa, because page 307 says no, 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 no. Not only will it mess with your macros, okay, but your fiber. An egg does not have fiber, guys. String cheese does not have fiber, guys. A little bit of scrambled egg whites does not have fiber, and fiber is controlling your fullness. You drink water to shut off that false alarm that says, I'm starving. Half the time you're thirsty. So that's preceded in the page before this that says, are you sure you're hungry? Are you sure? Because when I feel hungry and I chug that water, all of a sudden I'm not hungry. So that was the center of thirst. That's why we recommend drink water, eat a fueling, drink that water, eat a fueling, drink that water, eat a fueling all day, and shut off that false alarm that's telling you you're hungry when you're just thirsty. And fiber is in those fuelings. When I do intakes like the health assessment, right? Prior to the plan, I'm going to tell you something scary. Most people that I just do their quick little health assessment, they're getting about 3 to 4 grams of fiber a day, right? Maybe 5, okay? So I want you to look at all those things that we think are healthy in the store that could be a fueling. They do not have fiber, and they do not have perfect macros. They do not have the caloric space, right? They're more than, like a Cliff Bar is like a Snickers, right? A Quest bar is like 2 of your fuelings. Like, these things are not comparable. They don't work. They will not put you in a fat burning state. They will take you out, and you will be hungry. So my suggestion is any modifications to the plan, abandon them. Just fully do your 5-in-1 plan and get that fiber, because look at what Dr. A says on page 307, right? It controls your blood sugar. If you control your blood sugar, you control your hormones. If you control your hormones, you control your fat stores. It's a whole big picture that he has mastered, and you just get to open up those fuelings and eat them with confidence, okay? So today, I just wanted to leave you guys with a little bit of empowerment that has gone well with me. Thank you for everybody that shared. And I do want to end on this. This is the time of year where every one of your friends, well, 7.5 out of 10 of your friends, are actively looking online for a health program to start on January 2nd. And here you are, getting education, getting equipping, empowerment, encouragement, and all the things. So the best way to share is not to say you should do Optavia, right? Nope. You know what? I don't know if what I'm doing would be a fit for you, but what I do know is my health coach has been amazing, and she would give you a free health assessment. Him or her would give you a free health assessment before you go choosing a program. I would highly suggest you evaluate the one that I'm on, right? And connect them to your coach in a 3-way message. They will not reach out if you just give them your coach's number, okay? I promise you they won't. That's a big step. But if you put them in a 3-way and say, Amy, I know you were looking at health programs. This is my coach, Julie. She can help you see if what I'm doing is a fit for you. We're not going to tell people that we are the fit. We are not that egocentric, and we realize they have to be ready. We're just going to give them an assessment and see if they fit into one of our 17 programs. And if they're not ready, they know where to find us when they are. Guys, we don't sell food. We're not food salesmen. We're transformational health coaches, and we're here to change this world's health. Partner with us today in some small way, whether it's shouting out your coach, sharing something on your Facebook page, because your friends are going to get sucked in to another extreme diet, and they're not going to be any better for it. So I just wanted to appeal to your sense of mission today, and we appreciate you being on. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and let's go drink our water and eat our fuelings. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.